Hey traders, John Howell here. Today we are going to be looking just across the board. We're going to be looking at the markets. We'll be looking obviously at the indices, gold and silver, also the mining stocks as well too. What's really going on in the mining stocks as well. I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin. And also guys, what I'm seeing right now is one of the greatest explosions in economic growth is starting, which is going to cause inflation. So that boom, inflation that's going to come from one of the greatest booms we've ever seen, the pent up demand. I'm going to be talking about that, but also going to be talking about what are the side effects, what's likely to be doing well as an asset, as in like what stocks, what sort of assets we can look at, and what am I personally looking at for this greatest boom moving forward that I think can do well over the next, say, this year. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into it. Before I start guys, a lot of people have been asking me about how I actually trade the markets. Like, how do I actually trade the markets? What's my trading system and so on and so forth. So guys, I'm running a live webinar today. So if you go to johnslivetraining.com, or there should be a link in the description, you can register for my live webinar today. And on that live webinar, I'll teach you exactly my trading system. I teach you exactly how I do my trading in 1 hour, how I scan 3,000 stocks and find amazing opportunity, literally within say 10 to 20 minutes. Of doing research, my scanning technology that I use to scan these trades for these amazing trades, and also how I went from $250,000 in debt to becoming a full-time trader, all that sort of stuff. If you go to John's free training or johnslivetraining.com, johnslivetraining.com, okay, again, there should be a link in the description there, and you can join me for my webinar. Now guys, here's the thing. The stock market right now, we've had a lot of different earnings that have come out in the markets. Stock market is still in a very, just draw some trend lines here. All right, so the stock market is definitely still in a rampant page to the upside, as you can see. We definitely did break this trend line here, as you can see from there to there. So we're going through a bit of a time phase now, a bit of a resting phase, but I do see we're likely to see another big move to the upside. Same for the S&P 500. You can see just going through a bit of a time phase now, and I do see that we're probably likely to start to see another leg up real soon. And also same for the Nasdaq. Nasdaq has created another nice little high low, and then now we're moving to the upside. So you can see very nice move to the upside when it comes to the Nasdaq. Now let's go have a look at silver and gold. And this is just a quick technical analysis, guys, to actually show you what's going on right now. You can see silver is still holding that 26,000. Can you imagine silver being at 26,000? I bet you some of you would be very happy if that was the case. $26 and 50-cent level is definitely been that strong resistance. Man, could you imagine silver being at 26,000? I mean, I got call options in silver right now, so oh man, that'd be awesome. Anyway, so we're likely to see. I do believe we are. Well, yeah, we're still struggling past this. So they're still struggling at this $26.50 level. So once we do start to break past this, I definitely do see we're likely to start to make a very nice move to the upside. Looking at gold right now, and gold, I still see we're likely to have a bit of a move to the upside. I do see we're likely to still hit that 1820 level. We're having a bit of a flattening out period, as you can see for the last week here in gold. But I definitely do see there's a good chance of us still turning around and having a nice run back up towards that 1820 level. Moving on now through to the gold mining stocks, and a little bit of a down day. As you can see, we're sort of flattening out here a bit. We had a bit of a low, a lower high, a lower low, a higher high. So it's going to be really interesting to see whether the buyers bid it up through here or whether the sellers knock it back down where we are. The thing that I'm looking out for is that do we actually create this higher low here? So if we start to do something like that, but then if we start to do something like this is going to be a major high low, and then off to the races we go. Anyway, and the GDX. Now the GDX has already started to create a very nice upward trend, You can see it's actually a very nice move to the upside, and now we're getting a bit of a small pullback. So the trend has already and definitely has already started to make very, very nice moves to the upside. So as you can see here, we have a low, we have a lower low, we have a higher low, move up, and then we get a bit of a pullback through here, as you can see. And so we're getting this pullback right now. I do believe that we're likely to get a bit of a higher low through here. If we look at that good old Fibonacci levels from the low to the highs. So as you can see, very, very interesting that 50% Fibonacci goes in line with that level. So we're probably likely to, this whole area, which was resistance, is probably likely to find support. And then away we go when it comes to the GDX. SILJ, guys. Really not much doing much. Once again, we're holding at the round about that $16 level. SILJ and the SIL are sort of no man's land as well too. We're sort of just maybe slightly slow, or basically channeling. But here we go. I was about to say something, and then I had two words in my mind, and my two brain cells couldn't handle it, so I froze up. We are channeling right now, guys. But it's going to be really interesting to see whether we do hold here and start to break up. If we do hold here, even if we have a little bit more of a pullback like that, and if we do something like that and then start to break back up and break past previous highs, that'll be very nice, because now we've got a low and then a higher low breaking out of the channel. And if that's the case, we would, if I look at the projected target of this, which the channel is you measure from the high, and then we go down to the low, and then we measure it, move it up like that, and then we do that like that. So if we hold here, start to break back up above 45, we're probably likely to get to the good old 50 level. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, when it comes to those markets through there. A quick little update when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum and so on and so forth. Ethereum is just stampede raging to the upside, guys. So Bitcoin's still looking very, very strong. But for you guys that are Bitcoin, Bitcoin's looking potentially very, very dangerous where we are right now. And we're definitely slowing in the trend, right? The trend has changed. We are changing the trend right now. And if I squeeze my chart up here, you'll be able to see that we've had this low, higher low, higher low. Look at this here. Higher low is above my 52 moving average. Now, because I'm using a day chart, this is a 52 DMA, which stands for daily moving average. If this was a weekly, it'd be 52 weekly MA, right? So there we go. So it's nothing special about the moving average. You could use a 60 if you want. It's nothing special. It's just a bit. I try to use, say, a couple of months to give me a gauge where the average are a couple of months. And as you can see, when we start to make higher lows above the moving average, it's a bullish trend. But if we start to make lower lows, so if we start to make higher lows, we know that's an upward trend. But then if we start to then make there's the moving average, right? We start to make higher lows. But then if we start to make lower highs, the moving average is probably going to do something like this, start to come back down, and now we've got a bit of a downward trend. If the warning sign here when it comes to Bitcoin is if we start to hold here and we start to roll down, guess what? Now the moving average is going to flatten out, come back down, and now we're in a downward trend, breaking past previous lows, and now we're in a downward trend. This breaking this low, because as you can see, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Look at this here, low broken. Now we're rallying up. I wouldn't be too surprised if this created a lower high here, lower high, and then a drop to the downside is probably likely to happen from there. And then look out below, right? It's like yeah, we go right down there, and then it's going to have something down through here as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised of that happening, guys. It's really, I know, and so many people are Bitcoin. Guys, don't be mortgaging the house when it comes to Bitcoin. I'm telling you right now, it's not the right thing to do when it comes to the good old Bitcoin. Now, right now, guys, if you've been looking at what's been happening right now across the globe, I'm a very big UFC fan. Okay, very big. I'm actually really starting to get into like the boxing and the UFC. I've slowly over the last few years becoming more and more of a fan. So I watch a lot of the fights. And then I'm becoming a bit more of a fan of a boxing now, is because I'm actually got my very first boxing fight coming up in 5 weeks. So amateur fight, very first fight. Let's actually see how I go. So I've been training for that. So I've been watching a lot of footage and watching a lot of, pay-per-view events and so on and so forth. And now here's the thing. Let's bring this back to UFC. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, guys, is because this all ties into this is the sign of what's to come this year. The UFC had 3 main events. The first main event was Masvidal and Usman. Oh man, my 2 brain cells not working right now. Usman killed Masvidal, by the way. If you guys are UFC fans, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Usman actually killed Masvidal. Very surprising. Knockout. So I need to take a leaf in his book for my fight. And so, that had the first fight there. And then I think the next fight is also Conor McGregor and Daniel Poirier, I think it is. That's actually the trilogy of that. And I think there's another fight. There's 3 fights. Anyway, there are 3 fights. All total, 50,000 fans at these fights. Now here's the thing. They sold under 5 minutes in total. All 3 events, 50,000 tickets sold in under 5 minutes. Now, what's my point here? My point is this. That's the sign of what's coming in the economy. And what is that sign? People just want to get out. People want to start to do things. People want to start to go places. So we are going to see an economic explosion. And especially that, along with all the liquidity that the good old GOV is actually putting into the system, that's actually just going to create a massive boom. Now, that's where I see, once we start to get this massive boom, guys, that's going to create even more inflation. Now, what's going to be the beneficiary of this inflation? Obviously, what's been happening already, right? Things like commodity prices. So, for example, if I look at wheat, if I look at the weekly chart this is the weekly chart of wheat. If we have a look at wheat, if we have a look at things like soybeans, I'll come back to wheat in a minute, right? Soybeans. Look at soybeans. Massive move already. If we have a look at corn. Let's have a look at corn. A very, very nice move. Now, guys, this is a weekly chart, right? So every single one of these bars is a weekly bar. So if we start to look at all these different markets, they're starting to make big moves. Where wheat is still actually pretty low. It actually hasn't really made big moves. That's the reason why I'm actually in wheat myself. I think we have a lot more upside to go when it comes to this. Plus, it also met my trading pattern. So therefore, I trade it based on the pattern. Now, here's the thing. I definitely do see that we're going to see massive inflation, guys. We're going to see booms. Absolutely boom economy over this year. And that's going to cause inflation to go rampant. It's going to pick up big time. Big inflation is coming, guys. Because put it this way, things are just starting to slowly open back up in America. And then 50,000 tickets sold in under 5 minutes, the 3 different events. Now 50,000 seats, all together for the 3 events. That's a sign, guys, of what's coming. So if you think, the stock market's going to crash and things are going to crash, guys, we are in the middle, not the end. We are in the middle of a 2000 bubble. We are in the middle of a 1929 bubble. We are not at the top yet. No, I believe that maybe towards the end of this year, then yeah, we could be starting to look, I don't know about this. This thing's getting too crazy. But right now, guys, it's on like Donkey Kong for the bulls. So, guys, just, be careful. If you're trying to pick a top right now, if you're like, if you're like the good old Harry Dent, who just seems to try to find a top no matter what's happening, and it's really obvious in front of his eyes of what's going on. Now, there is a caveat to this, by the way, guys, and that is that if Joe Biden starts to hit the top 1% or the top 10%, I think it's the top 10%. If Joe Biden starts to hit the top 10% with a massive tax increase, that will cause a dampening in the market. So as long as we don't get a massive tax hike, and as long as they don't raise interest rates, it's on like Donkey Kong for the stock market, for everything. We're going to go through hyper bubble. And when we go through the hyper bubble, yes, we're going to see one of the biggest crashes we've ever seen. And it's going to be deadly, absolutely deadly. But I believe, once again, guys, we are in the middle. We are in the middle of one of the greatest melt-ups, greatest booms in history right now. We're in the middle of it. And so please, guys, don't be just trying to short the market right now, because you see how much debt we've got and how much overvalued we are, and the Warren Buffett indicator and the Guys, yes, all that's true. But guess what? Look at the environment we're in. 0% interest rates, bullish for assets, stocks, housing. Trillions of dollars of liquidity into the system. They're keeping rates down, even on the 10-year, right? They're keeping it down. What's that, guys? This is all bullish for the markets overall. And on top of all that, here comes second and third quarter. I've always said to all my private clients that second and third quarter is going to cause one of the greatest economic explosions we've ever seen. So hold on to your horses. And if you're long this market, obviously there's no guarantees, but guys, I truly believe we're getting ready for one of the greatest booms in history. I'm definitely long on a lot of stocks right now, and I'm happy being long because I see over the next 6 months, we're going to see massive booms in the markets. Bitcoin's already, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Bitcoin just yet because Bitcoin's already made massive moves, but get ready for one of the greatest moves in history. And that's where I see a lot of like just inflation, guys. I'm actually in some mining stocks right now. The GDXJ, and I'm actually in a mining stock, and gold and silver as well too. And I'm in individual stocks as well. I truly do believe, guys, we're going to see one of the greatest booms in history. And this is going to be an amazing time if you're not greedy, that is. And you stick to a plan to do really, really, really well financially. As long as I said those two big caveats, which is raising interest rates, or Biden actually gets the massive tax increase plan passed, that's going to cause a dampening market. Until that happens, guys, until they get all that passed, it's on like Donkey Kong. So there we go, guys. Once again, join me at johnslivetraining.com. Or there should be a link in the description, or the very first link in the description there. Go join me for my live training today, guys, and I look forward to seeing you over there. And on that training, I'll show you exactly all my things, like how I scan the markets, my trading system, you know, how I went from $250,000 in debt to become a good trader, and so much more. You're going to absolutely love it. So go do that right now, guys, and I'll speak to you real soon.